Hello everyone, it's Minute Plus Meditation here. It is Saturday, September the 21st, and it is the feast of St. Matthew, the one who, the tax collector and who wrote the gospel. The first reading is the feast day. First reading is taken from Ephesians. I, the prisoner of the Lord, beg you to lead a life worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, making every effort to maintain the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. I actually referred to this many days ago. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called in the one hope of your calling. There is one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in all. So, basically, St. Paul is reminding us here, or he's exhorting us, reminding us, encouraging us, sort of in some ways, all three at the same time or throughout his writings, this particular section, to basically lead, he's begging them to lead a life worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with humility. And that's the call still goes out to us many centuries later. But so often we've forgotten what we are called to. We're called to live this life of discipleship with all humility. The same things, basically, with all humility, all gentleness. Gentleness is not weakness. With patience, bearing with one another in love, help making every effort to maintain the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. And when we forget that, what happens is disunity is often the result. And there's a lot of disunity in the church. Because of me, because of you, because of this bishop or that. It could be even the Pope. It could be people, the laity. We're all contributing to the fact at times in various ways, that there is not unity in the church. There is disunity in the church. We're not doing everything we can in order to promote and live unity ourselves. And basically, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all. That's what we have to be focused on, as what St. Paul will make it very clear here. So we have the creed, we have the commandments, we have the sacraments, and it's not up to you and me to decide what we, should be, what is the true teaching of Christ as taught through the church. It's up to the church, and many people down through the centuries, because of the bad example of Catholics, have left the church, started their own churches, and it's like, really? Are you so naive as to think that everybody in the church or people in the church should be saints? They should be, but that they're not saints should not lead us out of the church or somehow the church is wrong. The problem is we're not listening. We're not really opening ourselves to God's grace, and there's problems like that contribute to problems. Not the church itself is not the problem. You and I are. And that's, of course, why we need to repent. And, of course, the calling of Matthew from Matthew's Gospel. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man called Matthew sitting at the tax booth, and Jesus said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. He followed Jesus. So basically, something was so compelling about Jesus that Matthew, who's living a life of sin, is obviously he can't be happy. He's wealthy, he's protected by the Romans. Undoubtedly, he had an escort everywhere he went, otherwise people would have killed him. But still, they had a close circle, and he leaves it all. We don't know how often he saw Jesus before Jesus called him, whether it was once or twice or three times, maybe in the distance. Maybe he was intrigued by this new rabbi. Whatever the case, we don't really know. Jesus passes by, he says, "Follow me," and he leaves everything. When he left, he was instantly burning his bridges because the Romans would not have taken him back. So it was all for one and one for all. It was total. It was one way. It was a one-way ticket. There was no return ticket here. So this is for you and me. This should be very encouraging that Matthew is not living a very good life. He's living a very sinful life. And yet, not only does he commit himself to Christ, he responds to the call of discipleship, but he stays with the Lord all his life. So it's possible for you and me. But we have to have that disposition of heart. There was something in Matthew's heart that inclined him to do this, or was allowed him to be open to do this. And you and I need to be open to the call of Jesus every single day so that we never get used to him, to get up from our table and follow him and don't look back. God bless you.